Is it by saying something else like, text me when you get home, or a forehead kiss? Or, hey, you made a great sandwich? Story 1. I listen for her to mention her wants or needs during conversations, then deliver later when she's not expecting it. For example, I want to do more festive activities, or I want to go out more often. Story 2. Definitely the forehead kiss. That's my preferred method. The urge just takes over me, but there are lots of ways. Making things quality time, helping with chores, words of affirmation too. Story 3. My boyfriend always says, keep me posted if I'm going somewhere. And be safe also. My personal favorite, did you eat? Every morning, he rolls over and kisses my shoulder. It's the sweetest. He also brings me coffee in bed when it's hard for me to wake up. He's a morning person. I'm definitely not. Story 4. I think the story that stood out to me in the early parts of my relationship, showing me how much my boyfriend loved me, was making coffee one morning. He was on the way home from an early morning appointment, and I was getting his coffee ready for when he walked in the door. I was messaging him, asking how he would like it, as he doesn't always want creamer in his coffee. He told me he specifically wanted the powdered creamer. We had the nice peppermint mocha stuff in the fridge. I was still foggy as I hadn't taken my medication yet and did as he requested without thinking too much about it. It wasn't until later in the day when I thought about it. I know he prefers the peppermint creamer. Neither of us really care for the powdered creamer, we just have it if we run out of the liquid stuff. So I asked him about it later. He told me that we were running a little low on the peppermint creamer, and since he knew I liked that one better, he wanted me to use the powdered creamer for his coffee so he could leave the rest of the nice stuff for me. I actually started to tear up a little bit. I never had someone think of me like that in any of my relationships, and it took me by surprise. But he does things like that all the time, small acts of thinking about what would make me happy. To me, that says I love you pretty loudly. Story 5. My wife is a chef and starts very early in the morning, so she is always very tired at night. It doesn't matter how tired she is. She will always make me dinner, even when I tell her not to, because she loves cooking. She will grab a few short naps on the couch after dinner most nights. I can usually hear her stirring about to wake up, so I try to have a hot cup of tea waiting on the coffee table when she wakes up. The smile I get from her every time she sees it is wonderful. Then there are other times when she wakes up fast, and I don't realize it. She sits there all groggy and asks, "Where's my tea?" Then it's a scramble to get it made. Story 6. My son, as a child, was very sick and usually had a breathing mask on. One time, as I was leaving for something, I said, "I love you." He was too weak to remove the mask and say it back, so he reached out his arm and extended his pointer finger towards me. I reached out my pointer finger and touched his. A dozen years later, we never leave each other without that gesture. Story 7. My husband and I left the house at the same time. He was heading to work, and I was going to hang out with some out-of-town friends. We both stopped at the same gas station. He was inside the mini-mart and saw me get out of my car to head inside. Knowing that I was going to get a cup of coffee, he had paid for it ahead of time. He was walking out of the mini-mart as I was walking in, and he told me my coffee was already paid for. I just needed to go and get it. I remember walking out, coffee in hand, and thought to myself, this is love. Story 8. Driving to her place at 12 midnight even though I had work later that day because she was panicking and lost her wallet in the street after accidentally leaving it on top of her car. We looked for her wallet for 2 hours, walking up and down the same stretch of road while talking. I was calming her down and making her laugh. The truth was, I knew by the first hour that someone probably picked it up, and it was likely gone. But I didn't tell her that. She didn't need to hear that. She needed hope. She needed comfort, not to be scolded. She was already beating herself up for it. I made her smile by the end of it, and we accepted it as gone, but at least she was now content. The next day, an anonymous person returned her wallet to her front doorstep. In some crude irony, the cash was a few dollars short, but she didn't care. She still counts that as a good deed. The wallet itself had sentimental value. It was all worth it. Story 9. In my humble opinion, nothing says that you love a person quite like making them a nice meal. Bonus points because it doesn't use any words, yet still says a lot. Story 10. I put away the laundry for you. Text me when you get to work. I brought you home a snack. I washed the dishes. Hey, let me make dinner tonight. Is it snuggle time? I've waited all day. Honestly, just things like that make me feel very loved by my husband. We also like to play hide and seek, have Nerf gun wars, and wrestle. Those activities are so childish, but we have a lot of fun doing them together. Story 11. My husband does the forehead kiss. He also likes to surprise me with different Beanie Babies. It's his thing. He'll also squeeze my hand 3 times. When I asked him how he knew he loved me, he said it was because I made him feel like a big comfy blanket was wrapped around him. I said he made me feel like I was safe and home, so I'm gonna say it's the same sort of thing. Story 12. Japanese proverb. Work is love made visible. Doing chores, taking care of her needs, being a good father to our children, being a reliable and trustworthy partner financially. Story 13. The I don't have to say anything. I'll just hold you until you're ready to unload all the things you've dealt with today hug when she gets home. That's probably my favorite part of being married. That and her knowing that if she asked, I'd totally make those problems go away. She wouldn't, but I would because she's worth it. Story 14. I'm not in a romantic relationship, but my roommate and I are best friends and in friend love. I'll make us both a homemade dinner when she's working in the living room, and I always drive her when she needs a ride and I'm available. I'll list things I love about her, and we'll talk about how lucky we are to have each other in our lives. We'll put down the blinds and curtains together at night, and sometimes she'll come into my room and hug my knees to wake me up. My favorite, though, for some reason is that we both always feel the need to tell each other when we're going to take a shower. We laugh about it because we don't know why, but we always do it. Story 15. With my first girlfriend when I was young, I hadn't brought a lunch to school. She noticed and, without saying anything, went across the street and got me a couple of bagels just the way I like them. She came back to me in the library, and I almost cried when she gave them to me. I couldn't talk. It was the nicest thing anyone had done for me at that point in my life. She gave me a kiss on the cheek and left for class. I'll remember that for the rest of my life, as simple as it was. My 13-year-old self fell for her on the spot. Oh, to be young again. Story 16. People express love in different ways. Learn about the person's love language and then make an effort to do that. For example, someone whose primary love language is physical touch would appreciate hand-holding and hugging. Someone whose primary love language is acts of service would appreciate you doing things for them, like making a cup of coffee or picking up takeout on your way home. Story 17. I wander into my parents' room when they aren't doing anything or go up to my boyfriend and just lightly poke them, usually in the stomach, or just place my hand on them, like my stepdad's bald head. Story 18. We do squeezes. For example, while holding hands, I will squeeze her hand 3 times, sort of saying, I love you, or when cuddling, I will give her a big squeeze. Story 19. Now hear me out. It's usually quietly, right in the ear with a smile with a buildup of, hey, I have something to tell you. Sounds not that great in theory, but my partners have always known what I really mean. This is for romantic partners, by the way. I don't do that to my mum. Edit. I guess this isn't for everyone, and maybe I didn't explain it enough, but I'm being downvoted. Oh well, no offense intended. Story 20. A lot of little things. I leave notes for my significant other in her lunch, at her desk at home, in her car. I leave a light on for her when I leave early in the morning, so she can see where she's going. When the cat coughs up a hairball, I'm the designated cleaner. Story 21. Being angry with each other after an argument, yet refusing to leave the room until we've made up. Even if we sit in complete silence for hours. My husband does this, and I honestly never knew that love felt this way. Story 22. I appreciate you, and are you happy? My husband tells me he loves me all the time, but he also tells me why and how he appreciates me. The things I do, what I offer, the conversations we have. It means a lot to be appreciated and valued as a person. And we ask each other, are you happy, and just genuinely listen to the response. And it means a lot to have someone invested in your happiness, whether they can directly help or not. My dad never told my mom he appreciated her. He never really thanked her for all she did, and he never seemed to really ask about anyone around him in general. My mom offers all this love and attention and emotional work, and my dad hardly puts any in. I always go out of my way to thank her and tell her how much I appreciate her. I also do the same for my husband. Story 23. Just be considerate. Tidy up so they do not have to pick them up a snack or drink you know they love. Just think about them and the ideas will come naturally. Story 24. Went to send a message to my wife a few years back saying, "I love you," but my phone auto-corrected it to "I live you," and I sent it without noticing. She loved it. Now, it's what we say when we feel truly loved. Story 25. I struggle with emotional stuff, so I say things like, "I like you, I choose you, I need you closer to me." Those kinds of things. Show him he is wanted. Story 26. Apparently, I really respond to words of affirmation. Being complimented by my girlfriend means a lot to me. I am pretty insecure about my looks, and even though I brush off her compliments on my appearance, I truly appreciate them. When she tells me how smart she thinks I am, it means the world. I also deeply appreciate gifts or dates that show thought was put into them, considering what I like. Sometimes, I realize that being complimented by other people besides family or my girlfriend also means the world to me. For some reason, when others compliment me, it means a whole lot. I guess it's because I feel those close to me may feel obligated to compliment me, but I think that's just me overthinking things. Story 27. I think I say, "I love you" very quietly. I say it through my actions most of the time. If I'm cleaning up after them, bringing them little snacks throughout the days because I think it would make them smile, or other little spontaneous gifts, listening to their problems, and comforting them until they forget what they were upset about. I don't know, it's how I say "I love you" before I get the nerve to say it. Story 28. When someone crawls out of bed on their day off, and while you are in the shower getting ready for work yourself, gets dressed, faces the snowstorm, warms the car, brushes the snow and scrapes the ice off the windshield, then jumps back into bed like they have never left, so you find the car warmed and ready to go, there is no doubt about love. Story 29. Press pause on your subjective reality and press play on hers. The next time you go out on a date, switch off the persistent you. Breathe like her, think like her, feel like her, live as a character on the stage of her life. Story 30. When my husband makes the school lunches for the kids, he does that sometimes just because. When I get him a cup of coffee without saying a word about it. When he sets everything up the night before, so all I have to do is press the switch and my morning coffee appears. When I cook him something special because he has had a hard day. Getting him a blanket on the couch. Him pouring me tea. Giving him a ride or picking him up because of rain. Making the house very tidy and clean either way. Taking the kids somewhere without the other parent. And every night I give him a kiss and tell him good night. I also never leave without saying goodbye to my men. 3 sons and 1 husband. Love is giving attention toward the needs of the other. You do not have to say those words. Story 31. I'm single now, but my ex told me about this. I'd be doing something while she'd be around and just talk to myself, saying something like, "Thank God you exist," without acknowledging or being aware of her presence, especially if the task at hand had been made better or easier because of her. I don't remember doing it because I'm pretty aloof and talk to myself from time to time. She said she felt as if I was grateful for her existence even when she wasn't around. Story 32. My girlfriend doesn't know it yet, but every time I squeeze her hand, I'm telling her I love her. I don't know when I'll tell her this, but it's my little thing, and every time she squeezes back, it feels like she's saying it too. Story 33. May sound weird, but my wife and I gently squeeze each other's hands 3 times as a sign for "I love you," when we're just casually holding hands, at dinner with friends, in a movie, etc. Nice little moments to just know they're thinking about you even when you might be at a dinner table with other folks and you just feel 3 little squeezes and an unspoken moment of connection to each other. Story 34. Due to the time that we have spent together, I have concluded that I feel an unusually large amount of affection towards you, and I wish for you to know that. Story 35. I dated someone who did not drink coffee, but I love it. The next weekend, he had a coffee maker and coffee waiting for me at his house. That was love to me. Story 36. I'm startled very easily. On New Year's, my partner warned me before he opened the champagne so I wouldn't get startled. All he said was, sound warning. But what I heard was, I love you so much, and I don't want to spook you. So I'm letting you know about this big sound beforehand. Story 37. My partner knows I do not like leaving bed once I am in. He is the light switch and the snack getter once I hit the bed. It makes me feel very, very loved. Story 38. My husband will sometimes show up a few minutes before I am done with work, so he can drive me home. I take transit and he works from home, so his schedule is flexible. It always cheers me up, especially if I've had a tiring day. Story 39. I like to sneak hug her from behind, unless she is holding a knife or something equally dangerous in her hands. The stealthier I am, the more status and charisma points I gain after successful completion of the mission. Story 40. Doing stuff that is intended to make her day lighter, such as doing one of her chores or making her food. I love you and I want you to have a better day. And if I can make it easier by doing even one small thing, I want to do it.